Yes, welcome into Sports Bit. Betting and Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. Tuesday, August 9th. Big game breakdown is going to be the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Indians and the Nationals. Deep dive, all the news and notes from training camp so far. Quarterback battles, we'll get to all that in the NFL in the deep dive and the play of the day. We got to start with a moose, a vicious beat in St. Louis. 4-0 Reds, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, a runner on for the Cardinals. All hell breaks loose. Somehow, someway, they win the game with 5 in the ninth, Teddy.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, the last 3 Cardinal batters, walk, hit by pitch. Russ Ollendorf faced a couple of batters, didn't get either one to put the ball into play, didn't get an out either. And Yadier Molina, he started the rally with a single, he ended the rally with the hit by pitch. I don't know, Molina, I don't know why I love this guy, but I swear he's the most underrated player in the modern era. Always clutch hits, best defensive catcher, on and on with Molina. But a moose, it's not just a moose, that was a moose, a brutal beat. If you had Cincinnati plus 170 for the Reds, and when you're up 4-0 with a couple outs in the ninth, yeah, you kind of expect to win that game. Tough beat.
Reds pen, number 1 in MLB in losses, 30th in saves, horrible ratio. The pen's been better over the last month, but this is just horrible. Plus 170 dogs, you got it on cruise control. Walker didn't have much, and it's 4-0. All he needs one more out, and some interesting decisions, managerial decisions. You got the outfielders up against the fence. Balls are landing in front of them. Carpenter had a big hit. Oh, tough loss there.
But I mean, let's talk about Cincy, because Cincy is they're a bad team. We knew they were going to be a bad team coming into the season. They had a brutal first half with injuries in their pitching staff. They haven't quit on Brian Price. And while he's not one of my favorite managers by any stretch of the imagination, I respect the fact that the team continues to play hard, despite the fact that they're awful. But you talk about that ratio. When you have a ratio of 18 saves to 24 losses out of your bullpen, you're not going to be a good team. And obviously, that's been the situation with Cincinnati this season. Ollendorf, look at that picture of Ollendorf. Not a happy camper.
Here's a bad bet. They were betting the under in the Dodger game. Flew over early.
Oh, yeah, that 8 got bet down to 7.5 at a lot of key books. 8 with heavy juice and a handful of other key books. And the over, what a cash by the top of the third. Zach Eflin got lit up. And then Jose Urias with a throwing error that led 2-run score and cashed any over bets, the few over bets that were made on this game by the top of the third. When you're betting under, when the markets say under, and they over cash by the top of the third, we'll call that a wrong side loser.
Yeah, Julio in that one. The under in Miami as well. The bullpens got involved. Fernandez went 6 strong. And again, that was a avalanche of runs once the bullpens came in.
Well, I mean, there was a fair bit of under money in Miami as well. The 6.5s were bet. There were minus 130 juice on that, minus 135. There were even some 6 that popped up before the first pitch. But, again, we don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much. But, man, we nailed this one in terms of analysis last night. Of course, both teams flying over the total by themselves. And just as we talked about yesterday, it was Cueto looking gassed.
Yep.
And Miami's middle relief looking equally gassed. What about the 7 hits from Crawford? 7 hits in a game. He killed us, Paul. He killed us with the play of the day.
Yeah, what a performance. 1 for the ages, 7 hits there. Twins, how about this? They win again. They shut down the Astros, who can't hit. The Twins are 9-3 in their last 12.
Yeah, they're 14-10 since the All-Star break. And 13 of those 14 wins for Minnesota have come with a plus price underdog return on investments. The markets are starting to notice. Many took money last night as home dogs versus the Astros. That wasn't a good result for the house. But when you cash 13 of 14 wins and go 14-10, and every one of those, with the exception of 1, came as an underdog, guess what? You're doing something right. Even following Minnesota and backing Minnesota made a whole lot of money the last couple of weeks. Good for you.
Yeah, the Astros in a world of hurt. Since they swept the Angels at home, they're just 3-11. 2 runs or less 8 times the last 10 games. The other 2 games, they scored just 3 and 5 runs. And the road chalk again tonight. You figure it out. In a team that could be out of it now after what happened with Estevez in the bullpen. 3-1 Rockies in the 9th on Friday. Estevez blows it. 3-1 last night. He blows it again. A bad beat. Come back by the Rangers. They win 4-3 with a 3 spot in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, Colorado was in position. They were really making a nice run to open up the second half of the campaign. And nothing but positive chemistry in that locker room.
Yeah.
The quotes coming out of Colorado were really good. They were making me money. But the last couple of days, they're getting smacked around on Sunday. Blown save, as you mentioned, on Friday. Another blown save on Monday. These are the type of losses that take the life out of squads that are trying and fighting and scratching and clawing and probably not good enough to get there. I'm worried about Colorado moving forward off another blown save last night.
Let's revisit something you said yesterday on the show. Team USA couldn't cover yesterday. What about laying those 50-point spreads?
Yeah, well, I mean, people are asking, okay, what do you do with a 50-point spread? And I said, in general, I'd rather lay 50 than take 50 in a mismatch game. And I would. That being said, the USA outscored Venezuela by 21 in the second. They outscored them by 18 in the fourth, and they still didn't cover. So I need to amend that. In general, I'm not getting involved with games with 50-point spreads very often in any sport. So, yeah, I'd rather lay it than take it. But, boy, in terms of getting in the betting window, I can't think of the last time I laid 50 points. I can think of the last time I laid 40 or took 40, Pauly. They're just not games I tend to get involved with.
All right, big game breakdown coming up, and then we'll get to NFL training camps and the deep dive coming up on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Hey, SportsBit viewers, tune into the MLB Odds Couple Show for Tuesday, August 9th. 15 games on the card. Mike Brenner, you going to have one or two picks?
I'm going to have a few picks, but guys, absolutely, when you're done getting that info from Teddy and Pauly, come on board. Say hello to us, too.
Back on SportsBit, Pauly and Teddy. Time for big game breakdown. As always, live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Yankees on the road to take on the Red Sox. Severino against Porcello. Red Sox $1.75, 9.5 the total. Red Sox back from the West Coast roadie on a total disaster. They went 5-6, 2.5 back in the AL East. And I give the Yankees a lot of credit despite all these trades. And they haven't had a losing season since 1992. They're still above 500. But the toughest thing to do in all of baseball is beat Porcello at home in Fenway, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox swept the Yankees 3-0 earlier this season. 20-9 total runs scored in those games. And, of course, you talk about Porcello playing at home. He's been not just good. He's been dominant. 10-0 with a 3.21 ERA. The Red Sox 11-0 in his 11 previous starts at Fenway, plus 47 runs in those ball games. There's a lot of things I don't like about Boston right now. I don't think their bullpen's been great of late. The starting pitching in many spots has been hit or miss. The lineup's been hit or miss. They haven't lived up to potential in a number of different areas. But one place where they have lived up to their potential is when Rick Porcello is on the hill at Fenway. We talked a lot about Jose Fernandez and the success he had earlier in the campaign. That's got a ton of pub. Porcello's success at Fenway so far this season is pretty well under the radar, something bettors need to be aware of before they get involved, side or total, with this game.
Yeah, 10-0 with a 3-2-1. Unbelievable. Now you got Severino, goes for the Yankees. He's got some bad numbers next to his name, but does that matter, Teddy?
You know, I really look at Severino as being a guy that has a lot of upside right now. He's only 22 years old, and the Yankees kind of rushed him up early. You know, he opened 0-6 with a 7.46 ERA before getting sent down. But let's not forget, last year he went 7-0 with a .91 ERA at AAA. This year, after getting sent down, 7-1 with a 3.25 AAA ERA. So the guy's gone 14-1 at AAA over the last 2 years with an ERA in the twos. He's done something right. And since he's been called back up to the Yankees, he made 3 relief appearances out of the bullpen. How about these numbers, Paulie? Look at the graphic. 8 1/3 innings pitched, 0 runs, 1 hit allowed, 10 strikeouts. Severino has been pretty dominant coming out of the pen. He threw 60 pitches over 4 1/3 innings in his last relief stint. That certainly is a guy who is more prepared to move back to the starting rotation than someone that hasn't been throwing long relief out of the pen. And let's not forget, this is something we talk about on SportsBit a fair bit. We like the guys that throw heat and get ground ball outs, and Severino is absolutely in both categories. His fastball average is close to 96 mile an hour, but he's also over 50% ground ball rate, which is something that's very positive for any starting pitcher. So Severino, I see nothing but upside for this youngster, and he is a bet-on pitcher in my mind based on the market perception of him, considering how awful those full season numbers really look.
I don't know if I was clear, but Porcello 10-0 with a 3-2-1 at home. That's at Fenway, where he's been unhittable. Game number 2, liveoddsportsbookreview.com. Indians take on the Nationals from D.C. Bauer against Scherzer. Nationals minus 210, 7.5 the total. The Nationals are going to make the playoffs, barring an epic collapse. But if they want to do anything in October, Bryce Harper has to step up. He's been horrible since the break.
Yeah, look at the graphic. I mean, the graphic shows it pretty clearly. Bryce Harper, the best hitter in baseball, the phenom of all phenoms. This isn't just a slump. This isn't like a week where he's gone cold. He's been cold, ice cold, for weeks now. Harper, since the All-Star break, a .134 batting average, a .159 on-base percentage, a .209 slugging percentage. And how about this? There's a wins above replacement, the WAR. He's minus 6.8 since the break. That's number 163 out of 167 hitters with enough at-bats to qualify. Listen, since the All-Star break, the guy's gotten 20 strikeouts and only 9 hits. The Nats can handle a little slump from Bryce Harper. I don't know they can handle an extended slump from Bryce Harper. And right now, this guy is as cold as anybody in baseball, Paul.
Double value for Scherzer. Not only is he a great pitcher, but he's a workhorse too, Teddy.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, Scherzer's been eating up innings. He's up to 156.1 innings already. That's number 2 to Mad Bum, who's got 163.2 so far this season. Scherzer, 16 consecutive starts of at least 6 full innings. And look at this since the All-Star break. 4 starts, he's gone 7 full, 7 full, 7 full, and 8 full since the break. So not only is he pitching effectively, he's keeping the Nationals' bullpen fresh behind him. Scherzer's as good as any hurler in baseball right now, Pauly.
Yeah, but
Let's
what do we?
not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What do we do with Bauer then, who hasn't been able to find the strike zone since the break, and he doesn't have great stuff, so that's a problem.
You know, I mean, Bauer, you look at the numbers, let's say over the last 3 seasons. Here's a graphic. 448 innings, he's 23 and 25, a 4.30 ERA. The fielding and independent pitching shows that he's not much better than that, 4.13. That's the epitome of league average. And it's okay when you go out every 5th day and eat innings. Not every pitcher, even on a World Series team, and I continue to look at Cleveland as the team to beat in the American League. But it's okay not to have every pitcher's not going to be an ace. If you can eat innings and go out every 5th day and give your team a chance to win, you're fine. And Bauer's been fine. And at times this season, he's shown signs of really putting it together. But since the All-Star break, UGLY ugly, Pauly. 0-3. 8.37 ERA. In 23.2 innings of work, he's walked 16 batters. And frankly, they need him to rebound right now with Danny Salazar on the DL and some starting pitching issues for the Indians over the course of the last week or 2.
Up next, deep dive, NFL training camp news. We got a starting quarterback named, quarterback battles, and a big injury already, plus the play of the day on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at SBRodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.
All right, time for the deep dive. NFL news. A huge injury yesterday. Grasso, the starting center for the Bears, torn ACL. He's out for the season. It was a non-contact drill too, Teddy. Obviously, Cutler's bum. Big loss for the Bears.
Yeah, and again, when we're talking about injuries, the mainstream media is going to talk about all your running backs that get hurt and all your wide receivers and who's not going to play for 3 downs in a preseason game. What we're going to focus here on SportsBit is the injuries that actually matter. Offensive lines, defensive lines, cornerbacks, the guys that make a difference, and of course, quarterback battles, which are huge throughout the month of August. So let's start with Grasso. He's a guy with a ton of potential, a guy who Chicago was counting on to be the anchor in the center of their offensive line this year. He's going to be replaced by the veteran Ted Larson as the first string center. But, I mean, look at Cutler's quote. That was a tough one. I played with a lot of guys, and he's one of my favorites, even in a short amount of time. I had a hard time with that one, getting over that. I think guys are still feeling the effects a little bit today. The season-ending injuries, Pauly, in the beginning of training camp, they're game changers for a lot of teams.
Yep.
And Chicago, squad. There's a ton of potential for Chicago this year. Their defense on paper looks way better. We all know about what John Fox has done in his second year in each of his 2 previous stints at Carolina and at Denver. Offensively, this is a squad, if healthy, they've got talent at receiver, they got talent at running back. Chicago, they've got a schedule, they can make some noise this year. But a key offensive line injury combined with a quarterback that makes mistakes during crunch time, those are a bad combination. And this is a meaningful impact injury for the Chicago Bears, something that's worthy of at least a very modest power rating adjustment for this team.
No doubt about that one. On to the Broncos. Kubiak released the first depth chart of 2016. Sanchez and Simeon are co-number ones. That's Andrew Mason, DenverBroncos.com, reporting that. So, Sanchez has been throwing a ton of interceptions in practice so far. Don't count out Simeon.
I'm not counting out Simeon because I've watched Mark Sanchez play
right.
for the last 5 years.
Yes.
And Sanchez, again, as a rookie, as a second-year player, he got the Jets to the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. But let's be realistic. Not so how much of that was Mark Sanchez and how much of that was the rest of the team around him and circumstances conspiring in his favor. He has not gotten any better since that time. He was he cost Chip, in some ways you could say he could cost Chip Kelly his job last year. And nobody is looking at Mark Sanchez as being the answer in Denver. They're not looking at Simeon as being the answer either. Paxton Lynch is the QB of the future, but he remains the number 3 quarterback right now. He has not been able to compete with Sanchez or Simeon, not picking up the offense, the nuances of the offense quickly enough, which is no surprise coming out of Memphis.
Yep. Yesterday, Hugh Jackson named RG3 the starting quarterback for the Browns. How about this? He is the 25th starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999.
Here's the quote from Hugh Jackson. And again, I'm a big Hugh Jackson fan. This is a bright offensive mind who has designed creative, winning offenses everywhere he's been. Hugh Jackson, quote, "It's time. Robert has earned the right to be named starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Since he was signed back in March, Robert has made it clear through his actions that he is willing to do everything that has been asked of him to earn this role." Note the Johnny Manziel dig right there. Throughout this process, he has gained the respect from his teammates, the coaching staff, and the entire organization that is necessary for him to lead our offense and really the entire team. Here's the truth about RG3, Pauly. I see potential, I see upside, and with Cleveland lined as the single worst team in the NFL this year, no team with a lower season over-under win total than the Browns, no team with less market respect than the Cleveland Browns here in Las Vegas. If RG3's decent, maybe you make some money betting Cleveland this year. Maybe they go over their number, the total, their win total, and maybe they cash you some underdog tickets. So certainly worth paying attention to a much maligned quarterback on a very bad team that has at least the potential to make better some money.
To the Cowboys, Kellen Moore out 3 to 4 months. They need a backup quarterback. They thought they could get Nick Foles. He goes to Kansas City. Maybe they work out a trade with the Browns and get McCown. In the meantime, it's Showers and Prescott. That's it behind Romo.
Yeah. Then, of course, Jerry Jones. I'm reading these quotes. You got to give the Jerry Jones quotes. They're always good for a laugh. Jones, of course, has been the Cowboys GM for how long? Throughout his tenure, he thinks that he knows more about personnel than anybody else, which is, of course, one of the reasons why Dallas hasn't won a Super Bowl since, not Jimmy Johnson left town. They won the Super Bowl in the first year after he left, but it's been a long time. Jerry Jones, quote, I'm really more encouraged after this about holding our pat hand on a veteran quarterback than before. If we continue to see this kind of improvement and see this kind of instinctive play and really look very comfortable, if we can see this will give us some running room out there. Look, Jamil Showers is not an NFL quarterback yet. I don't know that he will be. Dak Prescott is not an NFL quarterback yet. I'm not sure that he will be. When you have an a team that has Super Bowl aspirations and you have a quarterback like Tony Romo with a recent history of significant injury history and you've been useless without him, you would think maybe you figure out something for a decent veteran in the QB position. Dallas, not so much. It is a red flag, and it's worth noting Note these two QBs. We're going to talk a lot about preseason betting strategies and philosophies over the course of the next couple of weeks. It's important for Showers and Prescott to get a ton of work and to throw a ton of passes in August. Dallas has been a bet against team at this time of the season in recent years. I'm not convinced that's going to be the case in 2016 because Jason Garrett has to get at least one of these two guys ready to play if he needs them.
All right, one more. The Patriots, they play Thursday. We'll see what Belichick does with Garoppolo, who struggled in practice Friday. He worked with the first team on Monday.
Yeah, and Garoppolo is someone, again, nothing but positive comments, nothing but positive chemistry comments. And all of a sudden, now that he's trying to run the offense for real with the first stringers, we're getting some negatives. He had a bad practice on Friday, as you mentioned. On Monday was the quote I got, he was a bit better, but not as sharp or as crisp as he needs to be. He hasn't seemed quite as comfortable in the scrimmage setting as he is in the practice setting. And offense coordinator Josh McDaniels constantly in his ear, trying to chat him up, maybe calm him down, and get Garoppolo ready to play the first 4 games of the season. Obviously, the Pats are going to need him with Tom Brady's suspension.
Yes. All right. Horrific yesterday. Our play of the day, Marlins, up 5-1 in the 7th. They blow it at home and lose in extra innings. Where are we going today, Teddy?
Let's go to Fenway and talk about 2 pitchers we were just talking up in our big game breakdown earlier. Take a look at the Yankees and the Red Sox under 9.5. You will have to lay a little bit of juice, -120 / -25 as we record this. But we've got both bullpens completely fresh off Monday's off day. And frankly, look at the picture here. 94 strikeouts for 211 batters this season while allowing only 38 hits. As elite a reliever, as you'll find in the big leagues right now. Let's take the Yankees in Boston under 9.5. That is our play of the day.
All right, getting close. 6 games on Thursday in the NFL. We will talk to you Wednesday. Pauly and Teddy, Sports Bet, betting insight today on SBRpicks.com.